Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So the topic of today's video is, should I become a lawyer? And a few things to consider. So as you guys know, I am a lawyer and I'm a baby lawyer. I've only been barred for a little over a year, going on 2 years now. I have a lot of people that reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook. They say, hey, my niece is thinking about becoming a lawyer. My cousin is thinking about becoming a lawyer. Can you give them some tips and some pointers? And I just want to make this video so that perhaps the career decision doesn't give you as much shock value as it did me. I am a first generation high school graduate. I knew no attorneys prior to going to law school. I knew very few college graduates. So I have my own personal reasons for going to law school, which I'll probably share in another video. But if law school is something that you're considering, I want to go through a few things. First is salary. Everybody thinks that lawyers make buku money. I don't know if that's media, TV. I'm going to keep it a stack. I do know lawyers that make buku money, but they're the minority. Yes, lawyers tend to earn a decent living, but all of that depends on a lot of factors, like where you live, the type of law you practice, how long you've been practicing, who you work for, if you work for yourself. It's so many things that go into how much money a lawyer makes. So don't let that be your number one driving factor. I know teachers that make more than some attorneys. I know firefighters and police officers that make more than attorneys. So if you're specifically looking to reach a certain income level in life, don't let that be the sole reason that you go to law school. Law school is expensive, like super expensive. You don't want to go to law school, take on all that debt, only to come out and make $60,000, $70,000 a year. I know some attorneys who don't make twice as much as what 1 year of law school costs. So let's say, for example, law school costs $40,000 a year. We're just talking about tuition, not cost of attendance, but $40,000 a year. I know some attorneys that work full-time jobs that are making $60,000 to $65,000 a year. Ridiculous. They can't help it. It's just the job market. So you want to be sure you outweigh the cost of going to law school versus what you reasonably could expect to make in a salary. Outside of the financial burden and commitment, it's also a personal commitment that you make when you go to law school. I know a lot of law schools, to help their enrollment and numbers, they'll advertise part-time evening programs. And I know a lot of people who are successful because they're able to matriculate through law school in a part-time evening program and still work full-time. I don't know how they did it because I certainly wasn't able to do it. I wouldn't advise anyone to do law school part-time. One, because you cheat yourself. Law school is a once-in-a-lifetime experience they're never going to get a do-over at. So I would just immerse myself in the experience if I did decide to go. If you want to go to law school, do it at a time when you're able to make that personal commitment. Don't have to work. Maybe your family doesn't need the bulk of your attention at this time. Maybe you don't have a lot going on. When you're able to just kind of immerse yourself in the experience of being a law student, it is so valuable. You'll get to do internship, experience different areas of law, study abroad. I mean, it's just such an experience. Be part of student organizations, really get to know your classmates, because these are going to be your colleagues for life. Like, you will form a special bond with these people that no one else can explain. Like, I call them my cousins from my law school side, because you guys will have a bond like none other. If law school is something that you want to do it at a time when you're able to make that personal commitment. While we're on the topic of personal commitment, if you're thinking about going to law school, you want to take the time before you matriculate to get your personal life in order. Meaning, if there's anything off your criminal background that you need to get removed or sealed, or any debts or bankruptcies, anything like that, you want to get that taken care of, because that will affect your admissions, as well as your ability to sit for the bar exam. And you don't want to have to deal with those hurdles while you're in law school, because you want to devote your time to your studies. So if it's something that you're seriously considering, get your personal life in order if you have not already done so. Back child support, criminal history, debt, all those things. Get your ducks in a row. Some people go to law school knowing the area of law that they want to practice, or knowing the subject matter that interests them or what drives them. You want to really research what a day in the life of that type of lawyer is going to look like. For instance, prosecutor. A lot of lay people would tend to think the life of a prosecutor looks like getting up, going to court in the morning, or researching their cases, and that's pretty much it. And then they go home and have dinner with their families. I bet a lot of lay people also be surprised to know that prosecutors work 24 hours, and so they work shifts, kind of just like nurses at a hospital. I know some prosecutors who are on call from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So, and they have a pager and on the weekend. So when you think about what you want your work-life balance to be, if you have small children that you tend to, or you plan on having small children at that time, you want to really look at what the practice of that area of law is going to look like. Another thing to consider is, are you ready to be an entrepreneur? Most lawyers go into solo or small firm work, meaning that they link up a couple of other attorneys. There are big law firms, of course, that employ anywhere from 200 to 2,000 employees, attorneys worldwide on the basis, but those jobs are hard to come by. So first, let me be honest, you usually have to know someone to get one of those jobs. Then after that, they go to attorneys who come from very prestigious backgrounds, prestigious schools, highly recommended. If you want to work in big law, which you work for a big firm that usually has major corporations as a client, that can be very lucrative. Another thing to consider is if you want to be a lawyer because you want to help people. I know that we all want to help people, but what you'll find in the practice of law is that the people who need your help the most can't afford a lawyer, and that's just real. When your heart gets attached to these nonprofit causes or people who can't afford representation, money may not be there. If that's something that's driving you, that's something you really want to consider. Is your family sustainable? Are you sustainable otherwise financially, so that you can really go in there and follow your passion? This next thing to consider, specifically for people who are motivated by civil rights law, and they want to, fight the cause and help out their community and fight the power. I get it. I'm with you, but understand that that type of work does not pay. There aren't many jobs that will pay you for working civil rights claims, and they're expensive and they're long and they're litigious. One of my favorites law movies, very much slept on, highly underrated, is Denzel Washington playing Roman J. Israel Esquire. I think that is the excellent movie that is real life. I know lawyers who live off of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they're just down for the cause like that. When you really want to help people be out there as a grassroots lawyer, that is what that life looks like. Also, do your research on what civil rights practice looks like in your state. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. There are lawyers who do wrongful convictions and they're able to get paid from it because Illinois law allows compensation for people who've been wrongly convicted and who've done prison time because of that. And so as a lawyer, if you were to take a case like that, you will be able to collect a lawyer's fee. Here in Georgia, where I'm licensed and I practice, no such thing exists. So if I wanted to do wrongful convictions here, it'll basically because I'm volunteering. I wanted to make sure I brought that out because I had a lot of young people tell me, I've seen the Central Park 5 documentary and I want to get wrongfully convicted people out of prison. Okay, cool. I want you to get wrongful convicted people out of prison. I want to get wrongful convicted people out of prison. But just know that depending on where you are, that may not put food on your table. One of the last things to consider is a seat at the table. Being a lawyer gives you access to certain groups, politics, corporations you wouldn't typically have access to. If you have a lofty career goal or you want to be a politician, being a lawyer absolutely does help you open those doors, or I should say it opens some doors for you. You still have to, do your own due diligence and hard work, but being a lawyer absolutely does help with those goals. So those are just a few things that I would suggest that you consider when you ask yourself, should you be a lawyer? Have a comment below and let me know what type of lawyer you're interested in becoming or what type of law you're interested in practicing. I'm curious to know what this next generation is driving into law school. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.